How's it going, friends? Lewis here. We're going to try to fix the echo. Let me see if I can share the screen with the Amber Heard trial real quick. Get some audio in there.
Certainly how I felt about him. But if he wanted to take off his own boots, he certainly could.
All right. Can you guys hear this?
Did you buy Mr. Depp any knives during that time period?
Objection leading.
What if anything did you do with respect to knives during the time period you were with him in the Lone Ranger?
Objection leading.
What if anything?
Overruled. Johnny had a thing for turquoise, and that eventually, being in the Southwest, it can happen really quickly. I also too really love turquoise, and he has he loved knives. He loves a lot of things. When Johnny loves things, he does it a lot, and lots of it. So he had these daggers that he had given me. They were beautiful in design, and they're long curved daggers. And he just talked a lot about knives. Had a knife and gun collection. And was quite proud of it. And at some point, I don't really remember exactly when it was, but at some point I picked up what I thought was a really beautiful turquoise handled knife. Really and I remember exactly when it was, but at some point I picked up that Johnny would say to me all the time, which I, thought was romantic. As funny as that is to say now.
And what was the expression? The same?
Until death, hasta la muerte in Spanish.
Now, by the time that you're visiting Mr. Depp during his shooting of Lone Ranger in the June through August 2012 timeframe, what, if any, relationship has he developed with your family?
Oh, starting really early on, Johnny was so kind, so generous to my family, but especially my mom and dad. He just really.
What's up, everyone? Hopefully the audio is better here. Welcome, Robin.
Is my audio better? Any better?
Guys, rate Robin's audio.
And Johnny just all of a sudden, I had never noticed, Johnny have a Southern, all of a sudden Johnny had a Southern accent and was really like buddies with him. And they really seemed to get along very well. They're, just like instantly he was giving my dad gifts. He gave him guns. He gave him knives.
The audio's good on both ends. Sounds good. All right. 10 out of 10. Robin's a 10 out of 10. Yeah.
Yay!
But how does she sound, though? We know she's a 10 out of 10, but how does she sound?
Yeah, how does it sound? Because this mic kind of.
No, you're good now.
Okay.
Amazing gifts and being invited to come.
Guys, please share this video because we lost a lot of viewers.
Johnny's a big movie star, and my dad was just like,
not too many.
My dad would
It is what it is.
himself, not if I had.
I'm still new at this.
He just instantly, he gave my mom jewelry, brought her out to come and see me while I was visiting Johnny on Lone Ranger in some part of the Southwest. I think it was Colorado. He gave her this beautiful turquoise necklace, and I mean, they were definitely taken by him.
And what, if any, relationship had Mr. Depp forged with Whitney by this time, your sister?
I believe the relationship came a little bit later as they got to know each other, but he did the same thing with my sister and just really found a bond with them that, was he tried to do anything and everything he could to make them feel like special, and they did. My mom, my dad, and my sister.
And what, if any, relationships did Mr. Depp form with your friends?
Well, Johnny's so generous and can be this really like overly generous almost, like showering you with gifts and.
So, dude, make up your mind. Is he an a-hole or not?
I mean,
She's gonna turn it all into negatives and make it.
Yeah, I get
it means to
it's
really,
a Scorpio
we're not trying to
move.
give
Yeah,
you a card. or like talking about just these like extravagant trips or these extravagant gestures, and it's a lot. He did that with my close friends. I'm relied heavily on my friends, and had a pretty strong.
He hasn't
support
looked
with
up.
them,
I think
and
he should look
really
up
just
and look at her straight in the
showered
eyeball.
them with.
I don't. He's ignoring her. Everything she's saying is BS. He's just like doodling and
No, but see,
people
she's gonna have
here
more
and there.
trouble
I'm just
lying when you look at
incredibly,
somebody in the eye. You know what I mean?
generous.
yeah, but she's looking at the jury. She's has no problem looking them in the eye.
Yeah, but he knows
Mr.
because she
Depp
wants to
to
save her
with
$50 million.
respect to
I will look at that one. Look, I will
objection
look at them
leading.
at the ass for.
Right thing. Overruled.
I bet you he'll look at her when his
and
lawyers are asking her questions.
buying me a horse, and I, of course, said that's extravagant.
What he should do is turn
There's
her
no
his
way I
back.
could
No, I'm
accept
sure they
that.
rehearsed
That's-
this. You know.
Yeah, I don't think that
Also,
he's
like-
allowed to do that.
You know, it just is so extravagant. So I said
He
no.
did it yesterday to cover the fact that he was laughing.
Got a hold of my dad.
Hello, Nerd Report.
And
21 people are
worked it out
back.
with
Hit
my
the
dad,
notification
what kind
bell.
of
Hit
horse
the
to buy,
like.
and then
Share
shows
this
me a
video.
picture of this
Robin
horse and
Redbreast,
said,
what the hell is your PayPal?
It's yours.
My Cash App's on my Twitter.
Trans.
I don't
uh,
care. I want you to share.
I don't
want
have
you to share.
I don't have PayPal right now.
I know.
You
It's
know,
actually, I'm
you know, I
sorry.
grew up on
Oh, it's
Right
dollar
with the
sign
comment.
so
Robin Redbreast. Let's see.
you know, I went.
If my screen
I had-
freezes,
I
it's
had
just because
it
I'm
around
switching
Mississippi
windows really quick.
About
Okay.
a month and a half or something of him kind of bringing up the idea and me saying, that's a crazy gift. No, thank you. No, that's incredibly generous, but I couldn't accept to. All of a sudden I had a cult.
So let's take you through 2012 and your relationship. Could you just describe for the jury a little bit about how that relationship evolved through 2012?
It was always intense. It didn't become intense. It almost started that way. When I was with him, you know, I felt that electricity in my body. I felt like butterflies. I couldn't, you know, I couldn't see straight practically. It was just, you know, I was head over heels in love. And he felt like that to me. He felt like he was also in love. I didn't feel like he was faking it. I felt like what we had, it felt like to me at the time, he was also like that, you know, I mean, and then he started to kind of do this thing again where he'd disappear and he'd come back. And I remember at first when he first started drinking, I didn't really think much of it, but all of a sudden the behavior kind of started to go in line with the disappearing, and he'd come back and he'd just be different. And I'd say something and he'd accuse me of saying something else or saying it in a different way, or he would, it was mostly my clothing at the time and me working. That was the main thing. Like, I found myself trying to not talk about auditions because it would change the mood so dramatically. I tried to, you know, he would make these comments about, you know, whoring myself out, but do so in the context of me acting, you know, and he would talk about other actresses who do my role, you know, in this way where they were worthless whores, that they were, you know, fame hungry, you know, expletive, you know, just this. The point is, it felt really dirty to be an actor. Never mind that he was one. It was dirty that I wanted to do this job that I wanted to do, and I was doing the job of an actress. It was everything every time I was walking out of the house, he would ask me, "That's really what you're wearing, kid?" "Oh, I see." You know, I wore a dress to an event once and I felt beautiful in it. Like, stupid as that sounds, I felt pretty in this dress I picked out, and I showed it him because it's a carpet, it's red carpet, so it's like, publicized, and I kind of thought it was weird. He wasn't saying anything about it. I left him to go do this red carpet, and I was like, "Did you see the event I went to?" Basically, I felt pretty, and I thought, like, did you see that? I wanted him to say something about that, I guess.
Okay.
And he
No audio
said,
now, Robin.
well, this is after he stopped talking to me for some time, didn't tell me why. When he came back, explain
Now.
why he was acting different. He just kind of acted mad at me, didn't know what I had done wrong. And when I brought up the dress and the event, because it was an event to support a charity I was really involved with at the time, and I said, did you see that thing? And he said, yeah, I think the whole world saw that kid. That's how they'll remember you. That's how the world will remember
Robin,
you.
have you ever had somebody send you a Cash App?
Yeah.
Oh,
Wait,
yeah.
on here, I've used it before, but
No, on a stream.
Said, yeah,
no.
Okay, let's be the first. I'm dropping Robin's Cash App in the comments.
That's what you wanted.
Send her
That's
like a
what you were
buck.
going for,
I don't give a crap what it is.
Stress was low
It's
cut. I get it.
crazy. People often use that metaphor. I'm sorry,
Yeah.
but if you can't handle,
Yeah,
I can't even remember how many times in my life I've been accused of being a whore, or like what I was doing being a whore. And like in Hollywood and stuff, you can use that as a metaphor. Like you have to sell yourself, and everyone knows sex sells.
Everyone calls me a
spinning
whore.
it.
It was clothing in general. And when I walked
Like she's taken us back 100 years.
Allowed to wear that. It was like,
She doesn't represent
really?
women.
That's what you're wearing. No wonder.
She wanted to charge $30,000 for 20 minutes to represent women.
That's what you are. That's what you're making.
I feel people are individuals. I don't care what she does. She doesn't represent blonde white women.
It continued.
Right, but it became personal for me when it's like, yeah, she self-appointed herself the representative of women.
Yeah, that's bullshit.
And then wanted to charge more than most women that she's proposing to represent make in a year.
Furniture is what it started with. Glass. Threw glass at me, and I remember it was summer. And he just threw this glass across the kitchen, and it didn't hit me, but it shattered behind me, and I remember thinking that it like very easily could have hit me. And that calling me a whore, it didn't start with using the whore word. It was just comments.
You called them old and fat, man. That's
escalate.
that's what they call me all the time. I live with it.
Pattern of escalation where he'd throw glass or turn over a table. Then he would hit the wall, and then he'd hit the wall really close to my head. Like when I'm standing there, just hit the wall.
She's starting to lose it right now. Like her acting's getting really bad.
But
yep. Because she's getting into it. She thinks she's doing a great job, though. She thinks
no.
she's
In the beginning, her acting was good. Now it's starting to fall apart. Like the anger right here.
Yeah, like her lips.
Yeah, no, it's
scripted.
Yeah, it's
she's trying to portray like sadness or something like that, but it comes off as disgust and contempt and like sticking her nose up.
Unreal.
In the beginning, I was even starting to fall in love with her.
Unbelievable.
Oh, I'm telling Lisa. She
doesn't care.
Interesting, funny man.
She'll probably be like, "Good, go with Amber Heard. She cuts fingers."
Make me feel so loved. Like it would I would feel so distant from that thing. That was so scary that I would not even recognize it too. And that was how
bad acting.
Our relationship kind of started to develop in that first year.
Press 1 if you think that Amber Heard's acting is getting bad.
Did you see that eye flinch?
Please
that was
tell
bad.
the jury about it.
It was it's seemingly so stupid, so insignificant. I will never forget it. It changed my life. I was sitting on the couch, and we were talking. We were having a normal
couch,
just
there
was no fighting, no argument.
Oh my god!
And
who's going to be the first to Cash App?
I
Robin
didn't realize
here,
at the
man.
time, but I think he was using cocaine because it was like there was a jar a jar.
Right there in the comments. Cash App.
Joking out on the.
I can't see the comments.
I realize
so
it
I have
sounds
no
weird,
clue.
but it's like an actual vintage jar of it. But I didn't see him use it at the time, so I didn't really factor that in. I just, he's drinking and we're talking, and there's music playing, and he's smoking cigarettes, and we're sitting next to each other on the couch. And I asked him about the tattoo he has on his arm.
Uh-huh.
And to me, it just looked like black marks. I didn't know what it said. It just looked like muddled, faded tattoo that was hard to read. And I said, what does it say? And he said, it says wino. It says wino. And I didn't see that. I thought he was joking because it didn't look like it said that at all. And I laughed. It was that simple. I just laughed because I thought he was joking. And slapped me across the face.
Oh,
And
now
I laughed.
she's finally saying he did something, huh?
I laughed.
I think that's the audio we heard where she was
didn't know
ordering him
what
to the couch.
to do. I thought
It's like
This
she's
was
trying to
joke.
tell a different version of the story. We have audio.
a joke because I didn't know what was going on. I just stared at him, kind of laughing still, thinking that he was going to start laughing too to tell me it was a joke, but he didn't. He said, "You think it's so funny? You think it's funny, bitch? You think you're a funny bitch?" And he slapped me again. Like, it wasn't clear. It wasn't a joke anymore. And I stopped laughing, but I didn't know what else to do. I didn't know what to do. You would think you would have a response, but I, as a woman, had never been hit like that. I'm an adult, and I'm sitting next to the man I love, and he slapped me for no reason, it seemed like, and I missed the point. It was that stupid. Second slap, I know he's not kidding, but I don't know what else to say or do, so I just stared at him. I didn't say anything. I didn't react. I didn't move or freak out or defend myself or say, "What are you doing? You're crazy." I just stared at him because I didn't know what else to do. And he slaps me one more time. Hard.
I can't even take notes because everything I've heard about this is BS.
Each other on the edge of the couch, or I was on the edge of the couch. And
Right here. Look at the face.
all of a sudden, realizing that the worst thing has just happened to me.
Johnny's losing
that
it, man.
could
He's
possibly
getting
happen
pissed.
to you. I realized that I wish so much he had said he was joking because it didn't hurt.
He's not going to look up because
I was just sitting there.
it's not true.
On this carpet, looking at the dirty carpet, wondering how I wound up on this carpet and why I never noticed that the carpet was so filthy before, and I just didn't know what else to do. I didn't know what to say. I didn't know how to react. I just sat there thinking, how much time do I have to figure out what I need to do? Because God, did he just hit me? No, I didn't want to leave him. I didn't want this to be the reality. I didn't want to have the man I was in love with. I know you don't come back from that. I'm not dumb. I know you can't hit a woman. You can't hit a man. You can't hit anyone. You can't just hit somebody because I knew it was wrong, and I knew that I had to leave him. And that's what broke my heart because I didn't want to leave him.
Heart broke her heart.
I got up out of that room.
We totally buy it.
This never happened to me.
Man, it kind of bugs me to see this, man.
And I wish I could sit here and say I stood up and I walked out of that house and I drew a line and I stood up for myself. Looking at the dirty carpet, trying to will myself to get up.
How come?
Movie, I would say it's
Work, because I really needed to.
What is the name?
And I really slowly, I stood up and I remember looking at him in the eye and just looking at him, frankly, because I didn't know what else to do. And before I know it, he starts crying. And, I'd never seen
The movie Rush.
an adult man cry. I didn't even really see my dad cry at my grandma's funeral. You know, it's weird. And he's crying. Tears, I mean, just falling out of his eyes. He gets down on his knees and he grabs my hands and he's touching my hands and he's saying to me, I will never do that again. I'm so sorry, baby. I put the fucker away. I thought I killed it and it's done. I thought I put the monster away and I've done it before. It's done. But on his knees. And I didn't have words. I didn't know what to say. I just remember thinking that it was just, he was crying. He seemed so sorry, but I knew I couldn't just forgive him because right? That means it will happen again, no? You know, like I've seen the health class videos, like everyone else. And I got up in my car. I walked to the car. I didn't say anything. I made a
Guys,
point
get your comments in. That's what we want to. We don't just want to.
okay,
We
or
don't just
anything
want to
like that. I
run this
just
stream. We
didn't
want to
say
know what you all
anything.
think as it happens.
Got up, I went to the car. I sat in my car.
So I'll
and
try to
I
make your
felt like
comment
I sat
pop
there
up here.
forever. I didn't want to turn the key. I just leaned my head up against the window.
Sir Justin Lee
And I
says she's not
remember
even good
just
as the
seeing my
girl
breath
from
on
Gone
the-
Girl. I haven't
the
seen that one.
windshield.
That's because the actress in Gone Girl is a spectacular actress, who, by the way, was starred next to
Seeing
Johnny
my
Depp.
breath and trying to will myself to have the strength to know what I should do in this moment because I was heartbroken.
People are really upset at her, man.
And I sat there for
Everybody is
me.
people are pissed at that psychologist, her
and drove home.
forensic psychologist, Miss Dr. Hughes. Can't wait for
Sarah-
Curry's Cross.
What did you do?
Sarah Choi says, "Liar! You're the one who said you won't do it
don't
again,
know.
not him." Re-listen
don't
to that
remember what I
audio
did when I
tape
got
again.
home. I
There
don't
you go,
remember.
Sarah. You better sub to Nerd
Um,
Report, please.
Yeah, she's basically committing perjury. I mean, like, we have audio tapes that
The
prove
therapist,
otherwise of everything that she's saying. Like, and they're in evidence, and the
Or-
jury's already heard them.
Objection, hearsay.
Here they come.
Also stated as to what she may have told her.
I went home and I, a few days later, started getting, I actually don't know how.
Mike
many
says,
days later,
"Wow,
but
it
I
looks
started
like he's
getting
watching a
calls
movie
and
stage."
Texts from Johnny, apologizing profusely. I mean, just, he said, I'd rather cut my hand off than ever lay it on you or lay it upon you, and he had that way of talking. It felt like poetry. And he showed up to talk, like with the understanding that, he understood I could never forgive him and it was done. So I felt kind of safe in saying, okay, let's have a talk, or, yeah, we'll talk. I think I know I just wanted to see him, and he comes over, brings me gifts. He brought me a couple of cases actually of that Vega Sicilia wine that we've heard about, which is a really nice, expensive wine that I could never at that time dream of affording, and we talk, and he tells me that he had put this thing away, that I could trust him, that it would never happen again. Of course, it would never happen again. That he had put this thing away. He had killed the fucker, is what he said to me over and over again. I put that fucker away. I killed that monster. I'll kill it again. It's done.
Seeing a lot of new
Never
people.
again,
If you're
never
new to
again.
this channel, please press one.
And
Press one if you're new to the
believe it.
channel.
So I chose to.
Chose to stay in the relationship.
Dude, tomorrow's gonna be big.
I did.
It's a good song, Matthew Coburn.
I believed it. But, I believed it wouldn't. I believed that there was a line he wouldn't cross again, and that was it.
He was crying. Johnny was crying.
Right now,
Yeah, like about 60 seconds ago, he wiped a tear.
So you stayed, correct? You stayed in the relationship.
Yes.
man, I feel like he still likes
So,
her.
I think he was crying because she probably either
Okay.
Thank you.
So could you
made the situation out to be something that it wasn't, or just lied about the whole thing.
the evolution of your relationship after that time with Johnny?
I don't know how long it was until things got bad again. He did start drinking again. I remember.
Yeah, but don't you remember you drink too, bro?
It was almost, he start drinking again, the disappearing thing, the coming back.
He was pretty slick about wiping that tear because he wiped his nose first. But so if he missed it,
He has mocos.
It would be unclear, drunk, often really drunk, and kind of accusing me, but not directly. Nothing was very direct. It was a lot of accusations, but they were veiled. What I was wearing, who I was with, why didn't I text him back? If I didn't text him back right away, this is when I was at my place in Orange.
I think the strategy from JD's team here might be to go ahead and let her perjure herself.
By the time we were done talking,
lay that all out during the cross-examination.
I convinced him that I loved him, that I only loved him. There was no one else, and then that we were.
Well, that's why I have you here, because you have good opinions.
Like sick romantic love, like kind, sweet, velvety love. And then it would be something I said, why did you say it that way? If I had to leave for an audition, I could guarantee that when couldn't guarantee, but
let's get those like buttons up, everyone.
row,
We are
and
not corporate owned. We need all your help. Share.
And I wouldn't necessarily
Subscribe.
Right, Magnolia Rose, like she's trying to pass herself off as like not knowing how how much things cost or whatever. She hasn't got to the point where she got comfortable in her situation with him to just order whatever wine she wanted, whatever she wanted. Just rack up all the bills. Put it on Johnny's card.
Him accusing me of cheating, I'd defend myself. I'd say, that's crazy. You're wrong. I would never, the normal things. And it would escalate to the point where he would push me or shove me down, and then I'd get back up. And this happened several times. That's why it's not more specific, I suppose.
Meg's good one. They should open a winery together.
Yeah, if they did that, like she probably would have screwed him the way that Angelina Jolie screwed Brad Pitt
at that time
with the whole winery thing.
And he'd ask me if I wanted to go again. He'd shove me back down. Eventually, he just hit me. Remember, he hit me in the face when I denied having an affair with my ex-wife, my ex-partner at the time.
Just talking to the jury. Remember when? Like the jury was there.
And I was walking out of the bedroom, slapped me across the face. I turned to look at him. And I said, Johnny, you hit me. You just hit me.
Yeah, that was bad acting.
I'm going to ask you, Michelle, can you bring up 1783, please? What number again, please?
It's hard to understand someone lying about getting hit like that. For me, it's very difficult. But if I'm gonna analyze it, it's bad acting. It's just, Robin, I don't hang around anyone that abuses people. I mean, that's not. Luckily, my life hasn't been like that. I've never known too many people. So, like, when people get accused, I'm shocked. I get shocked with it. This is scary, man.
It's a picture of my face.
You get what I'm saying?
With,
yeah. No, I pretty much, if I'm around somebody and I get red flags, I'm pretty quick to cut ties. Like I was in abusive relationships, but I'm pretty sure I left before it got to that point. So
good.
I don't know.
We got 69 people in the house. Please make sure to press the like button and subscribe. We're going to be here tomorrow as well. We're going to be hitting Hollywood.
Amber, let me ask it a different way.
And ask people what team they are in.
Is this a picture?
I would totally come up and mob up and down the boulevard with you, Louis.
Tomorrow.
I don't know if I could do it tomorrow. I got the kids.
Robin, I'm grabbing some lunch. Give me 5 minutes. You are taking over. Respect Robin.
Okay. Hopefully I don't do something crazy like hit the back button and completely leave the stream.
I'm still watching you.
Okay. She does keep peeking up for his reaction, like looking from the jury to him, but he's not playing that. Like, just keep your head down, Johnny, and don't let her get any idea of what's going through his head. Are they at the bar? They're at the bar. Miggs, you live close to LA?
Would you please describe for the jury some of the cycles you had with Mr. Depp through 2012?
So in 2012, the violence was pretty,
All her acting is like that.
relatively
It's too forced. It's too contrived. It's not natural.
Slapping, backhanding. Well, it went from this eggshell kind of, you're walking on eggshells, nothing you're doing is kind of right, but you don't know what you're doing wrong.
Oh, I love hanging out downtown LA.
And then I was doing something wrong clearly, but
UK in the house.
unclear within the scope of an argument what I was defending myself against. So it would shift from a rumor he had heard that I was with a friend, or I had been photographed standing too close to a male person. That was a person I had had something with, and I was lying to him about, and it would be eggshells, accusations, and then he would explode. It started with throwing things, destroying the property, and screaming at me. I remember the screaming at me was the worst, because I kind of always felt like I had done,
Does she not realize that we know that at least half of the accusations of her having affairs are true?
He would shift accusations while I'm trying to dispel one accusation. He'd start another one. And
Totally understand, Blue Sky.
Nothing I could do to calm him down. It seemed like I'd walk away, and that would make it worse. I remember in my apartment in Orange, he would grab me by the hair, or he'd grab me by the arm.
Once again, we want your comments. We respect what you all have to say, so please make sure to add them and stuff, and I'll try to highlight as many as possible. But in return, all I would like is for you guys to subscribe, okay? Thank you.
To be repetitive slaps where he'd hold me in a position and slap me multiple times in a row. Then it would be,
Did you see Johnny's little
later either push him off of me, or I try to hit his hands away from me. I tried to, not in 2012 so much. At that time, I was mostly, my defense was, I'd go some other place. Like, I don't know how to describe that. It was a focus on something else. I'd stand up, look at him, try to stand up to him that way. Later, I adopted other kind of strategies to deal with it. But at the time in 2012, it was, he'd have this blowout, and then he would leave, disappear. And I'd be committed to not talking to him. I'm done with this relationship. I can't take it anymore. Said that so many times. And then he'd come back.
Fake. Yes.
Tell me he had a chip. He didn't have any chips, but he would say, I've gone to meetings. I have a sober.
She can't just shake her head no at the jury like he wasn't at meetings. Like, we can prove he was at meetings.
We're good this time. And he'd come back in my life, and with the combination of him being sober and having gone through this horrible thing where I felt like my heart ripped out of my chest, like a relationship ending is hard, I think, for anyone, but ending under that circumstance is really painful. And so when he'd come back, it would almost feel like a solution to that. And it would feel great, and we would be good again. And he'd be extra nice and extra apologetic and extra loving. And it would just, and we'd be back in the good bubble, the warm glow.
Isn't that, I wish there was a lawyer around right now. Like, isn't that
I
wrong?
play one on TV. I play a lawyer on TV.
Pattern.
Okay, but like, shouldn't, I don't think that's right. That like she can't just say something out of her mouth like, oh, Johnny was at meetings, but then shake her head no at the jury, like
as to what he was on. So I just knew how to react, you know.
that shouldn't be
Oh,
allowed.
really? There's
Speed is
body
very
there's
different
body movements you're
from
not allowed to do. I
Johnny
didn't
and
know that.
opiates. Johnny and opiates.
If
fear
you're like
from
shaking your head and talking silently to the
Adderall
jury,
and cocaine
that-
Johnny,
yeah, it
which
sounds
is
kinda
very
iffy.
different from Quaaludes Johnny. But I had to get good.
I mean, because that's what that insinuation was. He said he was at meetings, and then she
2012,
shakes
I
his
was
head, her head and mouths no to the jury. Like, is
just learning these patterns.
that your testimony?
Just learning that drinking kind of correlated with the violence.
And did you confide in anyone?
I agree, Donnabelle. They are letting her hang herself.
I think she
Objection,
can say
hearsay.
I think she can say if she told anybody.
Guys, we're about 150
Did you-
subscribers away
did you
from
tell
23,000. Please
Yes, I did.
subscribe.
Who did you tell?
Double check that
I
you
told
are.
my therapist. I eventually told my mom.
And let's go ahead and take a look at Defendant's Exhibit
Her
150.
therapist and her mom, who's dead, and is there
150.
to verify.
Your Honor, I'm going to object on hearsay.
We're mostly looking for your reactions, ladies and gentlemen watching. So I'm trying to highlight them. But you could also support the channel by sending a super chat, or I'm also putting in the link tree. I also had Robin's Cash App. Please, if you guys could Cash App her, it'll be the first time she got Cash App from a stream. Send her $1. I don't care. Just like, you know, I want that place to be that area to be conquered, where she's getting her first Cash App. Something. I don't know. $1. Cash App Robin Redbreast 86 right there. So what do you guys think so far, Robin?
Well, finally, JD's team is objecting for hearsay, so they're up at the bar right now. I don't know if it's just the last thing that she said or everything for the past 10, 15 minutes, because, I mean, like, okay, she told her therapist and eventually her mother, who's coincidentally dead and not here to confirm anything, and we already know what the therapist thinks. So, other than that, it's word salad.
Tomorrow's gonna be insane. That's all.
It is, or I don't even know if they'll get to cross-examine from JD's team.
They may
today.
not. Yeah,
They may not. They may continue with her tomorrow and then like cross starting midday. I wouldn't put it past her to, like, when JD's team is crossing her and asking her questions, like when she finds herself in a hole, to like faint or, you know, fake a seizure. I really don't put it past her. She's gonna fake a seizure.
Look, I gotta say, when she was Brady bunching, she looked better. Like, her acting was better. But as soon as she started with the like getting pissed off, like, that looked off to me. I'm trying to look at it subjectively too. I don't want to like just I'm pro Johnny Depp, of course, but I want to just like, okay, you know, let's give her a chance here. You know what I'm saying? I know there's like overwhelming. It's just, if you don't give Amber Heard a chance, and it's kind of unfair, I think, you know, just let her say her thing. But man, it doesn't look good. And I'm coming from a dude that's like kind of like, I'm not super informed with this stuff, but from the beginning, man, it seems like, what's it called? Ronborn. I mean, I don't know who he works for. Does he work for Johnny Depp or Amber Heard? He's awful. He's unlikable. Comes out with like, Johnny Depp drinks. You drank, right? Yeah. Did you drink? Okay, but did you drink? It's like, what? What does that have to do with it? You know, and then he starts quoting websites like We Got This Covered and Into the Magic or whatever the hell.
Oh my God! All the tabloid rags. I loved. What was his name? Richard Marx. Because there's another Richard Marx that's famous, that he's a singer.
Why
Here we go.
did you decide to confide in your mother about the issues you were having with Mr. Depp?
to her mother, who's dead and cannot confirm anything. Why is that relevant? Object relevance.
I felt safe talking to my mom because I knew that she understood these dynamics and she wouldn't judge me for staying with him, for loving him, even though this was happening and was happening to me. I knew she would understand.
And when approximately did you start confiding in your mom about your issues with Mr. Depp and the physical abuse?
Objection, hearsay, compound.
I sustain as to compound.
When did you start confiding in your mother about the abuse you were suffering at the hands of Mr. Depp?
I was confiding in her from the very beginning about the abuse, the psychological abuse, the kind of control, the disappearing, the not knowing where he was, then he'd come back and then sometimes in the middle of the night, the constant accusations, like that sort of thing. I talked to her about probably from the very beginning. The fact that I was secret, I had to hide. I couldn't tell any of my friends that I was with him for a long time because he told me everyone would blame me for the split with him and his partner. So I had to kind of sneak around and kind of get brought to his house, typically in a secretive way. And then he'd come to mine in a secretive way. And it was just all very, so very isolating. And I confided with her at the very beginning on that sort of thing. And then later opened up to her about some of the violence. I did it gently. First I just wanted to have someone to talk to about how scary it was. The rage and the uncontrolled violence, the rage that this man had and why it was
Objection,
pointed
Your
at
Honor.
me.
Hearsay. May we approach, please?
The rage.
I hope they get that whole thing thrown out because she's referring to her mother, things that she told her mom, but her mom is not here to verify any of that. It's
Well,
like
that's why
suing
they're referring
Michael
to.
Jackson after he's dead.
Yeah, that's why they're doing that.
Yeah, that has to be thrown out. Also, every evidence that is in the record from Page Heard doesn't show that.
Ladies and gentlemen, we're going to go ahead and take our 15-minute afternoon break. So please do not talk about the case. We're doing the outside research. Okay, we'll see you soon.
Sorry. That's good. Just got some lunch, ladies and gentlemen.
What do you got for lunch, Lewis?
I got some soup and some nuggets, some vegan nuggets. So,
What kind of soup?
let me see, some noodles. Yeah. So.
No. Ramen.
Oh, no, wait, it's
And
tomato.
sir, just a reminder that now that you're on the stand, you cannot discuss your testimony with anybody to include your attorneys, okay? All right, so we'll be back. Let's make it 3:55,
Like
okay?
she's gonna listen.
When are they coming back?
15 minutes.
All right. 15 minutes isn't that bad. Robin, you think we should take some calls?
Yeah.
All right, let's get some calls. You guys want to call in? I'm going to drop the link right here. The calls are video, so do me a favor, have your video up and your audio. Turn off anything that you're watching us with because you'll get an echo. Let me see. I'm still new to this. I'm dropping the link in the comments. Call in. Link right here and let us know what you think of Amber Heard's performance so far. Is it good or is it she's changing your mind? And stuff. And there you go. There you go. As we wait 15 minutes. Man, they knew I was having lunch, huh?
It's kind of, yeah, it's like for the past 3 weeks, my life was pretty much been on East Coast time, but I live on the West Coast, so.
So people like Angela says this is all crap.
It is all crap. It's her continuing with the same narrative.
Don't worry if you can't call in, Donna. Just you being here is good enough for us. still growing this channel. We're almost 23,000. Don't forget, we also cover other stuff. Like, for example, Dave Chappelle got jumped. What the hell?
Yeah.
Yeah, that was crazy. There's other stuff, man, that's going on in the world. So stay tuned to after this entire thing is done.
See,
Next
that's the
week.
thing with what Will did by violating, I mean, yeah, there's a barrier, right, between the stage and the audience. And by
Yeah.
him doing that, he made it okay for other people to do that. And so to see somebody go after Dave Chappelle, it's kind of like how after the Helter Skelter thing,
Yeah.
there
Dave
was all the
Chappelle, look, if
copycats.
you don't agree with him, I understand. And if you agree with them, I understand both. But I'm a believer that if you think what he's saying is bad, we should know who the bad people are, but you don't silence them. If you don't agree with them, you don't physically harm people, it's ridiculous.
Well, and it's like if somebody is saying something that's wrong, you want them to say it. You want them to say it loud, and you want them to say it in public.
And then
so
you have a
can
debate.
Scrutinize them for them. So you can scrutinize them.
Yeah.
Pick it apart. Just like right now, Amber Heard, just let her run her mouth with her lies, and we'll catch up to her.
Mm-hmm. I love you guys. I'm here or with Steph daily now. Cool, sweet. Donna Bell, don't forget to subscribe. Double check. Yeah, man. I've been everyone don't leave because we're gonna be back here with the continuation of this Amber Heard taking the stand. So far it's kind of boring. I didn't feel like I was expecting a little more, but again, it's her side asking her questions. My review in the beginning, she was doing pretty well, giving you this story meant to make her relatable because she's not. And then at the end, it was kind of like when she got pissed, it was just like, dude, you're going from like hurt, like emotion to emotion that don't like really mesh up together. I don't know. The acting wasn't that good. If it was acting, I'm not gonna, whatever. I'm not convinced. I'm not convinced it's real, but I don't know. I'm like that, Robin. Like, man, the whole situation bugs me, Robin. The entire thing, man. Just the entire thing hurts.
It does. Yeah. I mean, I want to be neutral too, but she makes it so hard.
I don't want. Yeah.
Makes it so hard to even give her the opportunity.
Yeah. The problem is I've seen psycho people like Amber Heard in my life.
Me too.
That's
all the time,
man.
I do too. I came home from Vegas to find myself being robbed freaking wholesale.
You got robbed?
Because I'm here and I'm selling stuff. It's a guy that's helped me before clean up stuff, and I've sold some stuff to. Well, he bought and paid for an item before I left town, and he had access to come get that one item. I came home to find him cleaning me out. My dad has tons of tools, so some of them I'm keeping, some of them I'm selling. Just taking all of them. All the tools, and he made off with my uncle's flatbed trailer, which I spent the entire weekend tracking down to repo, which I got back, but I'm still missing about $500 worth of stuff. So,
well, I had a bad time. I had a bad time too, but I haven't really shared it with anyone. So we had the Vegas trip, and right before the Vegas trip, I get a ticket, and I'm like, wait, I paid my my license, my car registration, and turns out it didn't pass smog. So I'm like, how the hell, this car's not going to pass smog. So I had to come back, fix the smog thing, get a smog check, because I can't go to work without the sticker. Cost me $1,000. Woke up extremely early today, went to the AAA to get the sticker, and they wouldn't give it to me because I paid online. Oh man. So, oh
my God.
I'm so tired right now, like really. But
I understand the DMV's been driving me nuts for months. Like I bought this truck And I keep submitting the paperwork online, and they're like, we're missing a document from you. And they're like, log in, and I can't log in. They won't give me a new password. So I still don't have a damn license plate because supposedly I'm missing a piece of paperwork. Tell me what it is, though. I will gladly give it to you, but you have to tell me what it is. Well, log in. Well, why is it not working? I give up on the DMV.
Guys, don't forget a tip Robin if you can. $1 would be awesome. She is doing this. She's interning. She's not on a payroll. Matter of fact, I'm not even on a payroll. But so she makes, she's doing a lot of stuff, and I want to have her on, and I'm not going to call her back on unless she gets something out of it. So I refuse to do that. So let's get her let's get her Cash App.
I mean, I'd be following it anyway.
No, I know you would. I just, you know what I mean. So let's.
Yeah, I've been
at least one.
Few days. I've been recovering from coming home like off my plane at 6 o'clock in the morning, and getting home at like 7:30 in the morning, and finding that, and then like I've just been recovering. So it's been a crazy.
Did you get anything yet? Did you get any cash ups there or nothing?
Oh, I don't know. I'd turn off my notifications when I'm streaming, or else, I'm doing this in front of the camera every 5 seconds.
Or even if you donate today to Robin and you don't hear yourself, she's going to write a list, right, Robin, for tomorrow? I should give her a shout out later. My God, that was great vegan chicken. I just ate.
They do a good job.
Yeah, I don't like chicken. I don't like regular chicken. Never did, before when I say meat. But now this is actually better.
Have you been to Del Taco?
Not in a while.
Like, do you ever? They have everything that's on their menu. You could get with the Beyond Meat, and they use the Beyond ground beef and just mix it with their, their Del Taco seasoning, and it's spectacular. I get it like with anything. I get it on like the queso fries. Get a pile of the Beyond Meat. Put it in any burrito. They have special burritos too that they make with it. It's so good.
Yeah, I tried them. You're good. Any more comments, guys? As we're waiting, they're they're taking a break. They said 15 minutes, right?
Yeah, it's a 15-minute break. We're like 8 minutes in. So.
By the way, the stream is blowing up. We have a lot of people throughout the hour. There's been a lot of people that come here, so I really, really appreciate that.
Yeah, Donna Bell. Well, he tried to. I don't think he thought I was coming home that early. He didn't know when I was coming home, so I caught him. So I'm pretty sure he got away with another load, and he took that trailer. He got away with the trailer because I was half asleep and didn't even realize it was my trailer hooked up to the back of his truck.
Damn.
And yeah. But I mean, the other thing about it is I just went through this whole thing with my neighbor where my neighbor was coming onto my property and stealing. And this person knew about that. So he took advantage of me on top of that. It's like, I don't even know what to do. What kind of person does that? And I think I inherited all these tools, and I think it comes from oh, you're a woman. You should know how to use a slide hammer. You shouldn't even know what a slide hammer is, let alone have one.
Just use a slide hammer on their forehead.
Right? But see, I know the consequences of my actions, and I don't want to go to jail.
Self-defense if they're intruding in your house.
But seriously, all I have is this stuff that my dad left me. I literally have nothing. If you're the kind of person who would steal from a single mom and her kids, I really need to do anything?
No.
You must already live in a hell of your own making to be okay with that.
Someone has a question right here. Do you want to take that one?
I don't understand why they didn't call out more hearsay with her testimony too. I mean, I think everything was.
Let's read out the question. Can you explain why Dr. Hughes' testimony wasn't her hearsay in the entity? What is it? Entirety. Yeah. Everything she testified to was heard through Amber. And then what's your answer?
I don't understand either, except for that maybe on the cross-examination they're gonna call out every single thing. I mean, that's the only thing I could think of is the tactic right now from JD's side is to let all these people perjure themselves and then just ram them on cross. But so like I don't have an answer for why it wasn't hearsay, because as far as every lawyer I've seen comment on it and everybody was just like, all she's doing is repeating what Amber Heard told her.
So everyone watching right now, like since we have a little bit of a break, I'm curious because I like to take polls, right? What other topics do you all like? Because if you're familiar with Nerd Report, we're kind of like, we do pop culture and we do nerdy stuff, and this is nerdy. I mean, Johnny Depp's one of the biggest entertainment icons, right? Amber Heard's been in DC films and stuff. So this is film related, but what other topics do you all like? Because eventually this trial will be over. So what do you guys like to hear about? Would you like us to cover? And then we can
I like Matthew Corburn's thing right here. I could talk about how do we get food replicators like on Star Trek for hours.
Someone has a comment for you, Robin. Let's see.
Oh, did you notice on the cross of Dr. Hughes, the first thing JD's lawyer brought up was the gender bias quotes. They definitely noticed her saying all that. And I kind of missed that because I was dealing with someone coming here to buy something.
I got to turn on the fan. 1 second.
I was kind of disappointed in their cross. I thought they could have nailed her harder, but I don't know. Classic cars. Yeah, Matthew Corbin, classic cars. Like a lot of the tools that I have are specialty tools that are made for working on older vehicles that aren't, for modern cars. Anything made past like 2006 or 7. That's when I start getting lost.
A lot of great people here, man. Who saw our Vegas videos? Did anyone see our Vegas videos? I had a wheelchair Elvis almost run over us, and I recorded a few fights.
That was great. I spent a lot of the time in Vegas alone. I spent a majority of my socialization with Wancho, which was great, by the way. I had a blast with Wancho when we were hanging out, but we kind of had our own fear and loathing in Las Vegas experience, including I now officially have a cousin Vinny in Vegas. So
I want to go back. The reason it was so expensive was because they were having that NFL draft, which I couldn't give a fuck about.
Yeah, I left my hotel and went and crashed with someone else because they offered, and I was just like, hell yeah, get me the hell out of here, because my hotel, it's where I stayed last time, and it was the reason I stayed there again. It was great. This time, oh man, it was horrible. And then my hotel was.
You can say what hotel it was, if you want.
It was Bally's, and it's right there on the other side. There's a bridge that goes over to Bellagio, and that's where they blocked off the strip down.
Was it bad because of Bally's fall or because of the traffic?
I think it was bad because the security was higher. Like last time in Bally's, we didn't have the issue where the security was down by the elevators checking everybody's, hotel key before we went in. But this time it was, and they were kind of nasty about it to a lot of people. And yeah, it was. And then when I first got there, I got there early. I had asked for the early check-in, but I know they had rooms available on a Monday, and they still made me wait till 3. So I spent the entire first day covering the Johnny Depp trial, sitting in the sports bar downstairs at Bally's, which was fine. The bartender was great, but
I wanna go back because I loved Fremont.
Well, I was about to say that, like, I wanted to suggest that, but I didn't have an opportunity to talk to anybody about it. But yeah, like, go to Vegas, take over downtown. There's tons of hotels and casinos and stuff downtown by Fremont and around
Oh,
Fremont that would
check it
totally
out. Donna
sponsor it.
said. Donna said she agrees with us. Vegas in July. I'm a Fremont.
I'm old Vegas. Like, I have a hard time because everything looks different, like down on the strip. But if I go downtown, I know exactly where I am. I just tell the cab, just drop me off at the Golden Nugget. I'll make it from there because I know
Yeah.
exactly where I am.
I remember those days. That looked nothing like that in the 80s.
Oh no, the Fremont Street, you could drive on it.
Yep.
Cruise around downtown. Like, I remember distinctly being a kid, and that was like, we'd go obviously from California. My parents would wake me up just because we were driving through Vegas, and so to see all the lights and everything.
How do you feel, Sadie? You're saying it's so interesting to know that the UK and the US are different but the same. How so?
I would agree with.
I've never been to the UK.
Well, Sadie, I'm a
Sadie,
descendant of the Norman Saxon Danes, so I'll tell you, Sadie, the mentality remains even after over 500 years and an entire ocean of separation, and everything's named after. A ton of stuff is named after British stuff. A ton of the government, the language. I mean, yeah, it seeped in.
so I want to go.
It's different but the same.
Okay, here we
Are you
go.
ready for the jury?
Yes, sir.
Okay, great.
Oh, also a question for everyone commenting. Have you ever ran into an Amber Heard supporter? Because I can't find one. Question for everyone watching. Everyone watching.
Let me take one quick break. I'm gonna check
Okay.
on the kiddos.
All right, thank you. Please be seated. Your next question.
Thank you, Your Honor. Amber, I'm going to take you up to March of 2013. Can you describe your relationship with Mr. Depp during that month? And we'll start there.
I remember it was after a period of some peace, and then he and sobriety. Johnny was sober, drinking Beck's, and my dad, who was struggling with alcohol and drug addiction at the time, had fallen off the wagon, and I remember he said, "Why don't we I want to send a picture to your dad of support," because my sister was upset with my dad, and so he poured a shot and kind of said, "Let's take a picture." I don't drink spirits, but I know that, I kind of held up in that picture. It's kind of eerie because I just think it's bizarre. He had broken this long period of sobriety that I thought was going to be the end of him drinking forever.
No church fan.
But I, held up this kind of glass with him, and we sent the picture to my dad because, I didn't know what else to do. And I remember thinking it was weird that he was drinking. And then the month got really crazy from that point on. It was a bit of a revolving door of accusations. He was accusing me of having affairs with, frankly, just one person I was an had an acquaintance with somebody, and he was accusing me of being with them, and then he was accusing me of being with my friend, the one I had seen in Spain. I'm, in these kind of arguments, nothing I do is working. Walking out of the room is me leaving him, walking away from me. Hey, where are you going? I'm talking to you. That it went from that to pulling me in by my arm, still shouting about the accusations. I'm trying to diffuse the situation by trying to tell him I'm not sleeping with this person and I'm not sleeping with that person. And it was kind of, as soon as it seemed as though I had convinced him of one, there was somebody else he was sure I was sleeping with. And it was a revolving door at the time. A painting I had hanging on the wall, done by my ex, who's an artist. That was one day he was convinced that was proof I was sleeping with her, having an affair with her. I didn't really love him. And all the while I'm madly in love with him and trying to convince him. So March started with this picture of him doing a shot, and he's kind of saying, let's send it to your dad to show support. And what I remember of March is just like it's almost like it was a never ending fight. It was just, there were breaks in it. What kept me in it is because I kept waiting for the other shoe to drop, the sobriety shoe, if you will. I kept waiting for him to get to the point where it's not supportable or anymore, and he's
Robin's
done
back.
with it, and he's ready to get clean and sober again, because there commences a period of like pure
The
joy.
Razzie Ann.
And it was one.
Thanks for the comment, Anna.
March.
Annie?
So let me start with the painting incident. Please tell the jury what happened on that particular incident with the painting.
As I mentioned, the painting, which had been hanging there for months, one day he kind of stayed up doing cocaine, just drinking, doing cocaine, music, which is not in and of itself that weird in my relationship with Johnny at this point. Like he stays up and keeps weird hours and smokes and stuff. But he was drinking brown liquor and doing a lot of cocaine, and it was like, it became clear to me in that
She says brown liquor, like that's supposed to mean something.
He wasn't making sense.
I think brown liquor is supposed to be stronger.
It seemed like
Not really. Usually clear liquor is closer to 100 proof.
Oh,
Darker the liquor, the more sugar.
It meant I was having an affair with my ex-partner, whom I had already split. With whom I had already split, and it made no sense to me. So I'm trying to kind of quell the accusations by saying, it's been there, and what are you talking about? And it's like, that doesn't mean anything. And he was demanding I take it down. He eventually takes it down and tries to burn it.
Yeah,
but
people think she's fake, man.
Luckily, because he was
not winning anyone over.
He wasn't with
like Weird Hours. He's a rock star.
Successful at doing it.
Also, I think no one's even pointed out the fact that the rock stars that he hangs out with have been sober for decades. Like most of them.
In argument,
except for Eminem, the Colin that keeps getting name dropped. Other than that, Joe Perry has been clean for decades.
Left the room. I left the house.
Alex Cooper has been sober and clean for decades.
Like a whole night, an evening, a night, and then a morning of this. So this morning in particular, I think it was like 22nd of
exactly. Debbie Lee.
There were several incidents.
Debbie Lee says clear liquor is stronger and brown liquor.
But in this particular
is
one, he had something to go to. He's filming with Keith Richards and
right.
You want to buy us some? Go ahead and super chat. Thank you.
We did the tour of the distillery under the Mob Museum in downtown.
61. Which is
so I just went over all of that stuff, like the difference between clear and brown liquor, like because clear liquor has been distilled multiple times, so that all the color and all that stuff is taken out.
61. And the date on this is 3/12/2013, and it's a text
Kraken's good stuff
between you and Mr. Depp. Do you see that?
I do.
Okay. And the first one is from you to Mr. Depp. Just thought you should know there exists a book. Is that to you? Is it to Mr. Depp from you, or it's vice versa?
It's Johnny texting me.
Just thought you should know there exists a book titled Disco Bloodbath. And then you say, we need that book. And you say, is this about last Friday night by any chance? And he says, how can you make me smile about such a hideous moment?
Every time they say that last Friday night, I think of the Katy
Could
Perry
you tell
song.
the jury what happened on that Friday night?
There were, like I said, there was a few different incidents in March. I believe this one happened in the Eastern Columbia building, which is one of Johnny's penthouses. They're in downtown, so a different part of Los Angeles. And we'd sometimes go there. I remember he was accusing me again of sleeping with this artist, this musician who I'd never slept with. I was denying it. I barely knew the person. And then he was accusing me of sleeping with my friend in Spain. And I remember nothing I could do. He called this person on the phone and screamed at him. He didn't speak English, so he was really confused as to what he was being yelled at by Johnny. But I remember those were the accusations. That was the fight. But it was one to the next accusation. And I remember I was kind of doing that juggling act. I was in one of these fights, I believe it's this one, in his downtown ECB, we call it, loft. And we're in the kitchen living room area, and he backhands me. And, it was, he wears a lot of rings. I remember kind of just feeling like my lip went into my teeth. And
no! Oh, what lies! It's so lies. If he hit her on the lip with a ring, it would have definitely
cut.
As hard as it is to explain this, I was so caught up in the relationship and also very occupied in defending.
Lewis, tell Robin she is so hot. What is her channel? I beg all over the pond of Scotland. No, I'm not sharing her channel, man. Only I could have it.
I didn't make that big.
Sorry. She's working on it, everyone. So I don't know. I don't even know if she has a plan to do it, but you can find her on Nerd Report. Meantime, and when she breaks out with a channel, then we'll pimp it. Right?
I am. I'm just in the process of moving. My dad passed away, and I'm here cleaning up his property and going through his stuff, and this is going to be sold. So I'm staying in a small trailer with my kids. So there's not really much. This is my Dollar Tree tablecloth.
Send her a Cash App, and she'll have her channel up quicker. That's a way to support now.
Can't knock me down and make a joke of it. Clearly. Make light.
I'm going to, Michelle, if you can take this one down and bring up 170A. Did there come a time in March?
You're right, Miss Poovy.
Remember where you sent a picture to your mom?
Yes, this is sometime in March. 2013. I sent it to her because I'd been texting about some of the craziness, and
Objection, hearsay.
It's smart. She went on first like this, and she put everyone's expectations
without
down
saying
because
what
she's so
you said
boring.
in the text.
Because then
explain
when she
why
gets
you were sending
roasted
it
tomorrow
to her.
or next time,
I was
no one's gonna be watching.
out.
But they're gonna remember
I was
this.
very lonely in what I was living in, and I wanted help. I wanted advice, help. I just wanted to talk to somebody and figure out how I could make this stop.
And is this a picture that you took of yourself in March of 2013?
I did.
Your Honor, I'm going to move the admission of Defendant's Exhibit 178.
Any objection?
No objection,
All
Your
right,
Honor.
178 evidence, you can publish the petition.
Thank you, Your Honor. And
Bro.
how did you sustain that bruise?
Yeah, bruh. What?
I had thrown a,
My children have given me worse bruises.
Johnny slapped me. I walked away from him and that made it worse. We got into like a shouting match. And he kind of did this thing with his body where I could tell he was going to hit me again.
Paranoia is only paranoia if the things that somebody's paranoid about
I
aren't real.
remember it kind of like a little, not a pot, but like a vase. And I remember I got away from him enough as he reels back. I threw it in his direction and actually managed to get away before he got me. He grabbed me by the arm and he kind of just held me on the floor screaming
When
at
she
me.
had brown hair.
I don't know how many times he hit me in the face, but I remember being on the floor of my apartment. And I remember thinking, how could this happen to me again?
Can you bring up 170?
Debbie Lee says that picture doesn't even look like her. Facts.
Thank you, Michelle. And
It was when she had brown hair.
Yeah,
And
I guess
yeah.
when we first met, she had brown hair.
to start, it's 3/23/2013. And if we can scroll up. This is a
Debbie and
text
everyone,
message
hope you
exchange
guys
with your
are
mom,
subscribed
correct?
with the notification bell.
Yes, it is.
Okay, let's go. Scroll down and then.
Your Honor, I'm going to object to hearsay.
I've seen that picture before, Sadie, but it's
Five.
been, I don't know, the people have been following the case for years now and covering it. Have just,
Is this the picture that you sent to your
Bruce
mom?
could be from anything.
In 2013.
Yes, it is.
Your Honor, I'm going to move the admission of 170, just that picture that's on the text. Along
With no words?
Well, it says from 2 weeks ago on it.
Your Honor.
I'll sustain the objection.
If we redact the from 2 weeks ago, can we admit it then? And then just have the showing that she sent it to her mom?
May we
for the
approach,
date?
Your Honor?
Okay.
Good. Finally, JD's team is. No, it's not a grab bruise, and it's got that's. She could have fell into something.
It could have been anything.
It could have been anything. I've gotten worse bruises from my kid wrestling with my kids. A grab bruise would have a hand indent. You would see finger marks from a grab bruise.
All right, 170 will be in evidence with redactions.
Once again, we want to know your comments. We're going to be highlighting them. We're not just playing the stream here, cloning it. We're commenting over it, giving our opinion. But most importantly, we want your opinions. And that's why we have the channel, because we like to interact with you all, okay? That's what makes us
And that's the
different
picture you sent
here
to
on
your
Nerd
mom
Report. Yay.
Yes, it is.
on March 23rd, 2013.
Yes, it was from a previous fight,
Okay.
the bruise.
All right. Now, did you have any other altercations in March 2013 with Mr. Depp?
Yes, we had a couple of these fights in Orange that were around this time, one of which I started to tell you about the painting.
You know, and I know I've interrupted you now twice on that, but I realize the jury doesn't, can you tell them what you mean by orange, at orange?
It doesn't look like her because she's
Right,
had a
Orange
bunch
was
of
my apartment. But
fillers and Botox and
at the time.
all sorts of stuff in her
And was it an
face.
apartment? What
Then
type of an apartment?
I rented the
also,
top of the
2013 was
house with the landlord living on the bottom floor.
10 years ago.
Okay, thank you. Now, please continue with the painting. I'm sorry.
It seemed like nothing I could say to Johnny would convince him. He wanted me to remove the painting. And he wanted me to admit to this affair that I wasn't having. And I didn't want to admit to it because it's not true. So I held out, and he just drank more and did more cocaine. And I woke up the next morning, I think it was on the 22nd or the 23rd. I woke up in the morning and the breakfast table was like cocaine and booze. And I realized that I wasn't going to be able to talk our situation down. I wasn't gonna be able to talk him out of it. And he was just so convinced that I was fighting with him or the reason that he wouldn't leave the house, and he had something to go film that was important, and there were important people waiting for him. And I remember people were reaching out, his assistants, his manager sister, everyone was wondering where he was.
Her hairstyle's irritating.
I think they might be alluding to the picture with the whiskey, the whole setup.
Out of my house, I couldn't calm him down. I couldn't change. He was just so intent on me admitting the details of this.
In this case, she's hiding from the judge. Whenever she puts her hair on that side, she's hiding from the people on Johnny's side in the audience in the courtroom.
On the nag. So eventually I called my sister.
Maybe even the court photographer.
Relationship with her at the time. And at the time, she occasionally did cocaine. I didn't, but she did. So I was like, hey, come take over. Maybe you can buddy him and talk him into leaving the house, just getting out of the house. And she did. I remember his assistants trying to get him out. Eventually in the evening, I think early evening, he finally agrees to leave, but I can't tell our relationship status. I can't tell if he still is convinced of these things.
I think she's wearing makeup. I just don't think she's wearing any eyeshadow or anything.
Back to normal.
Or mascara. I think she's just wearing foundation and powder and some contour. Here. I don't think she's wearing any eyeliner or
seemingly
just matte plain skin.
I agreed to go with him. He wanted me to go to the shoot. I had plans, so I kind of reluctantly agreed, but didn't want to
smash that like button.
I didn't want to.
70 people in the house. Let's get 100.
Antagonizing him or engaging more. So I went with him. We grabbed the dogs. We get in the car. We're on the way there. We're headed up Sweetser's the street. It's a major street that leads up to Johnny's houses. He effectively owns the end of the street. It's like a cul-de-sac. So we're nowhere near his home, but we were driving up this street, and he has the window down. He's smoking. It wasn't all the way down, but he's constantly smoking. And at some point, he starts howling out of the window, and then grabs two small dogs. Well, one was Johnny's dog and one was my dog, but
now we're going to bring up the animal abuse accusations.
His dog, slightly chunkier teacup Yorkie, and he grabs this teacup Yorkie and holds Boo out of the window of the moving car. And
Johnny, did you see that? He's like, I didn't do that.
Like an animal, holding the dog out of the window. And everyone in the car, I'll never forget it. Everyone just froze. No one did anything.
Right? I mean, the dogs can't testify. Her mom's dead and can't testify.
I didn't want to do anything to cause him to react, drop the dog. You know, it was just this eerie moment where he's
Woof, woof.
howling and holding this animal outside of the car window. And more than that weird memory is that I have more than that weird memory. I have a memory of everyone just kind of not really reacting to him. Like no one really
If he's abusive to
did
dogs,
anything.
why would she blame the dog for
eventually
pooping on the
kind of
bed? Am I
pulled his
missing
arms
something here?
gently back into
That would mean
to
he'd go
the
and kill it.
vehicle.
I know. Well, blame the dog. The dog can't verify or deny.
Yeah,
Like,
but
the dog,
okay,
implicate
but
the dog as a victim of his abuse, and the dog can't testify. And the only other person she told about it, besides her therapist, was her mom, who
well,
coincidentally
hear
is
me
on
out
the
here.
bed.
She's trying to say the guy doesn't like animals, right? And he abuses the dog. Why is she egging him on by saying, "Yo, the dog pooped the bed"? Then he's gonna go and kill the dog, right? Or am I miss? You know what I mean?
And calls and conversations with
He's
everyone
gonna get really
seemingly
pissed,
so
according to her.
about
Objection, hearsay.
I just. It's not the first time Johnny's heard it, but it is the first time. I mean,
Doesn't make
understood
sense.
everyone was
but her using that,
stressed to me about
her using that,
where is he? Let's
he
get in
abused
there, let's get in
animals.
there. And no one reacts when we
But
get
there's
in.
no proof of that. He had a dog for years and years and years.
Everyone was waiting for him, and everyone smiled.
Magnolia Rose, are you agreeing with me?
Hey, boss.
Objection, hearsay.
Okay. So,
Sorry.
okay. Let's, Michelle, can
I
we
think
pull up
I think
that
we're all on the same page.
No, about the dog. She's trying to say, this guy beats up dogs for no reason. Well, she's giving him a reason to beat up the dog by, taking a shit on the bed and then blaming the dog for it,
Right. Yeah. But yeah, exactly. I think it's more
Wait,
like
hold on,
really.
She's pooing. Look. Oh, no. I thought she was drinking.
167A.
But yeah, like if you were really scared that your person was going to abuse the animal, you wouldn't want to blame the animal for making a mess.
It's in evidence as a plaintiff's number. I'm not sure which plaintiff's number it is. I don't need it in twice, so.
I would agree.
Your Honor, I don't think it's this version of the photograph that's been admitted. So it's a
different version.
it's a
Same
different-
photograph, but a little different. Is that what we're?
It's not the same
There's
photograph.
some really good TikToks of Megapint audio and people using the Johnny Depp filter on TikTok.
Yes, I
It's
do.
hilarious.
Please tell the jury what it is.
It's a picture I took of my breakfast table that morning.
Your Honor, I'm going to move the admission of Defendant's Exhibit 167A.
167A. Any objection?
Your Honor, may we approach?
Sure.
I really love Sleepy Hollow, by the way.
Oh, I love Sleepy Hollow.
Objection compound.
It's probably that picture, the picture that the setup picture with the tampon applicator for the schnooter.
So objection compound means two questions in one.
Publish that. Thank you, Your Honor.
Yeah, you're supposed to
Okay.
ask direct questions, not and to frame a compound question like that what could be perceived as leading the witness by trying to give them the answer in the question.
Tell the jury.
Sunil, I
what
hope that's your name,
boxes that
Sunil
has the
Smith.
property
What is
of
Johnny
the
doing?
Scobones property
I'm very
JV.
curious. Doodling,
That's
maybe drawing
Johnny's,
his next tattoo.
drawing
Is he even
box.
listening?
She
Yeah, but
used
he's
for
probably
pillows,
that's
but at
part of the
time it
game. I
was,
think they probably told him to
like dime bags.
instead
He's
of
listening
being-
because
What
I
is
saw
this?
the head flicks when she was accusing him of abusing the dog and acting crazy in the car. He was like, "What? Didn't do that."
And do you know what is in these two glasses that have kind of a gold colored liquor?
Yes, they're different. Actually, that's confusing. They're different, different liquids. The one in the back in the larger glass is, I believe, at the time I was doing these tabs, or Barocca, that's what they're called. They're little tablets.
Baroka.
And
That's the setup picture.
anyway, I remember at the time that that's what I was putting in my water because I had just come back from France where they sell them. And then the brown liquid in the shot glass is Johnny's liquor. I don't know what it's called, but we kept it.
That's not a shot glass. That's a half pint.
At that time, March 2013, I hadn't, I still didn't have the, hard line. I won't even keep that, in my freezer sort of attitude or posture with him. I wasn't that bold at the time, I didn't like it, but I didn't have that strength. I kind of, at that time, I think was doing things like trying to pour it out when I could.
It does. It looks like a cider
What's
or
the brown bag on the left side? What is that?
maybe even a Hefeweizen type German beer.
Like, his prescriptions and cigarette, tobacco, weed, things that.
Johnny Depp doesn't seem like the guy who would pollute his whiskey with water.
To be a CD of some sort.
That's an assumption.
Do you recognize that?
Yes, it's the single. I believe is what it's called. The single he was making at the time. I think that's the song that they were filming a video for, if I'm correct.
Okay. All right. Now, did you?
Everyone watching, please let us know what city you're in.
Picture to Rocky Pennington that day.
Post your city.
I did. I sent it to my best friend at the time, and was like, "Look at my morning."
Objection, hearsay.
Okay, you can't say what you said, but you sent it to your friend, correct?
Mhm.
Let's go to 167, please. And is that the email in which you sent this picture to Rocky Pennington on 3/22,
Yes.
2013? I'd like to move the admission of the picture with the redaction of the message on it, with the top with identifier redactions, and we take out the rest of it.
All right, the objection?
No objection.
All right, so we'll do those redactions, 167 evidence with redaction.
Tulane, Georgia.
Damn, we have a lot of great cities here, Robin.
Louisiana, Shreveport, Oxford, North Carolina, UK. What's STE? Is that Stafford?
All right. And may we publish, please?
Ayrshire, Scotland. Did I say that
Is this the text message, the email that you sent to Rocky with this picture?
Yes.
Okay.
Her attorney just has this
Wilmington.
Now I'm going
voice and you want to sleep.
take you to,
Somerset.
let's go to Hicksville. Let's tell the jury about Hicksville, May 2013. Can you tell the jury what transpired at Hicksville?
It is it's a fancy trailer park, like a little hotel in the middle of nowhere, set up with these little trailers. And
Hey everyone,
we
please
had,
press 1 if you think
a
Amber
plan
Heard
to go
is
there with
doing
friends,
a terrible
and,
job.
we were gonna
Press
do,
1 if you think she's doing a
like
terrible job.
laffy, as
Press
we said,
2
laffy
if
drugs,
she's
like
very convincing, if she's
mushrooms,
convinced
eat
you
mushrooms, sit by a
to go on her
campfire.
side from Johnny Depp's.
There's really not a whole lot else to do out there. It's like a getaway. We had made this plan, and it was going fine. It was like a, kind of like a party out in the desert, with a few friends and campfire and music. And I don't know somebody brought MDMA. It was being passed around, and somebody who took it kind of was starting to feel the effects of it, I guess is the best way to describe. She kind of reacted in this way
Like
where
she doesn't know.
when the MDMA hit her, she kind of,
Oh my God, she wants to
sitting around
convince the
campfire, all of a
jury.
sudden she
I didn't know what it was.
put her, head on my shoulder and kind of grabbed my arm. I took it, to be the effects of the drug. And I think I had eaten a mushroom cap, but
One cap.
at the time.
What is that?
I
That-
don't remember feeling
The
anything.
drug?
It wouldn't do any. It might.
Changed pretty dramatically before
No.
I felt anything of the
No.
effect. But that was the environment we were in, and
No.
and
No.
as soon as she kind of did this thing where she leaned into me, Johnny.
She clearly knows,
Actually-
Sadie. She clearly knows what they do, and she's trying to make it sound like she did.
Well,
One mushroom cap would not have an effect.
Kind of making a joke. I think we all did. Everyone kind of
It
responded.
might have an effect on a teacup.
Like it was a
That's
joke, but
about it.
he was like, "Hey man, what are you doing? What do you think you're
Maybe
doing?"
that's why
He giggled and kind of leaned into me more, and I knew in my body just instantly that it wasn't a joke. But she didn't, so she's kind of still attached to my
You're
arm.
literally married to the man who embodied the Mad Hatter.
My fucking girl. You think you're touching my fucking girl? That's my fucking girl. It gets louder and louder, and she kind of did this thing, half
She is monotone.
understanding what was going on. I think she kind of started.
Giving
to
me
cry.
the what's her face from the
Her hands, and Johnny grabbed
Ranos
her wrist
vibes
and kind of
with the voice,
twisted
Yeah.
because we've heard her voice on audio.
pulled her into him and said, "Do you know how many pounds of pressure it takes to break a human wrist?" Huh? And he
A
kind
lot,
of
actually.
she just looked frozen. And
As
she's
we're listening to
crying,
the
and
most boring person
she's-
in the world,
is
could you
just
guys share with us
denying-
what your favorite Johnny
understanding
Depp
what was
movie
going
is?
on. I stepped in. I kind of take Johnny's arm around, kind of take Johnny's hand, and kind of we start communicating. I don't remember if he immediately was accusing me or if it was sometime after. I wish I remembered, but we agreed that we'd go and talk about it in the trailer. So we walked to the trailer, and when we're in the trailer, Johnny, by the time we get into the trailer, Johnny tells me that I had been instigating the, and asking for this, and that I had invited it, and that I hadn't been honest with him about my relationship with this woman. And I didn't really know her that well. I mean, I actually don't know her at all, but I had met her. And I remember in the trailer, he's accusing me of lying about it, and that I had something with her. I'm trying to diffuse that. I'm trying to calm him down. And he just turned all that, it seemed like he turned all that rage onto the trailer itself. And he just started smashing things. He picked up something on the table and threw it right into the glass cabinet. He hit with his hand a wall sconce. He cleared the tabletop on the little fold down like kitchen dining room area in this trailer. I mean, it's a trailer, so there's only so much you can do. And he's screaming at me, screaming at me. And I eventually go back into the bedroom area. He comes into the bedroom area. We had what I can only describe as it sounded like nonsense from him. It wasn't making sense. And I realized that he's just probably really high, because it wasn't making sense anymore. It wasn't like a direct accusation. He wasn't hearing me when I was saying I wasn't involved, wasn't cheating on him. I wasn't secretly trying to engage this woman in some sort of sexual affair. And then it became clear to me he was like looking for something. He cleared things off the bed. I went into the bathroom, and as I come out,
taxpayers aren't doing this. They are paying for this.
Yeah, I think
And
gas
how long I've been
prices
hiding.
hurt the economy
I was like, "What are you talking about?"
a little more.
And he says, "You know what I'm fucking talking about. You know what I'm fucking talking about. Be honest with me."
I like Charlie and the
And he
Chocolate
kinda, like,
Factory
looks
too, but I
into
can't
the
watch it
bathroom.
anymore. because I was traumatized,
went straight
right?
to the
He
bathroom,
got stuck on
which
the
is
part where the
I
animatronic
whispered
thing
to him and I said,
catches on fire.
like, what?
It
What
was,
am
I
I?
was
Where am I
traumatized.
gonna? What am I
Out of
hiding?
the
Where am I gonna hide
chair
it?
for like an entire hour.
And we were standing in this little hallway area outside of the bathroom, and he starts, what it feels like patting me down or saying he's patting me down. I can't recall, but he ripped my dress, the strap top part of my dress. I had just dyed this thing myself pink, and it's just one of those things. I was like, that's just finished that dress. And he's like
I
grabbing.
love Fear and Loathing in Las
Yes,
Vegas.
he's touching my thighs.
I was actually born in Bat Country.
He rips my underwear off. And then he
Yes.
proceeds to do
Holy
a
shit,
cavity
man.
search.
I'm not in her mind, but that is bad acting. It looks
He
like
was
bad
looking-
acting.
He
if
said
it
he was
was
looking
acting.
for his drugs, his cocaine. his
If
coke.
it's acting, it doesn't look.
She's
real.
acting for the jury. Like, beyond the jury, no one could see her face. Johnny can't see her face. His legal team can't see her face. The judge can't see her face. The audience can't see her face.
How could I hide? Why would I hide his drugs from like he was insinuating that I was doing it or something?
Look at all that blinking. Blinky, blinky. Blinky, blinky, blink, blink, blinky, blinky.
He's laughing. Look at Johnny Depp.
Telling me we're gonna.
He's either cringing or laughing.
He is giving himself a hickey on that finger, trying to have no reaction. Is what's going on.
Just
Holy shit.
stood there staring at the stupid light.
Oh, look how hard she's forcing the corners of her mouth down.
Well, he did that. He just twisted his fingers around.
Here.
I didn't see
Looks more like she's sucking on a lemon.
I just.
So the next
You
morning,
ruined my dress.
what transpired?
I remember thinking that Johnny would change his mind.
Yep, no tears. And look, change of demeanor.
Look at him looking over his glasses at her.
End differently. I kind of froze. I don't know how we went to bed that night. I don't know how I went to bed. I don't know how I slept. I don't know how we woke up. I don't remember having a conversation with him the next day. I don't remember talking to him about it or confronting him about it. I remember wanting it to be okay. I remember just wanting whatever fucking weird trip, whatever trip that was to end, just to be over and for it to just go back to normal. And I remember my friends were out by the pool. Like there was a pool in the center of the trailer park, and I remember putting on my, just putting on my face and going back into this like crap, and I remember seeing my friends by the pool thinking they were just having a great time, and no one knew what was, I felt so lonely. Like no one knows everyone was just having a good time, like normal stuff. Yeah. So I just smiled and made a joke about how trashed the trailer got, and we had to get the manager, who started off furious that Johnny had wrecked the thing. And then he had this like black mesh not tank top, it was like a meshy kind of shirt on. And I remember he came into the trailer and looked around and was like, whoa, what happened here? Whoa. And Johnny had an exchange with him. And I remember watching this man be so charmed. It was just a kind of a surreal experience. And, it just went away. That just got fixed. We walked out of the trailer at some point. my dog stepped on a bee. We went to the vet and went on with our, vacation. We actually went to another location after that, and then eventually went home and went about our.
Hey friends, we're like 20 away or 30 away from 100 likes. Please press the like button. Get us to 100.
Defendants Exhibit
85 people in the house. $85 people in the house. Everybody, let's get 100 likes, please. Press 1 if you are sub to the channel. Press 2 if you're new to the channel.
Did there come a time that you wrote an email?
Objection, leading and hearsay, Your Honor. May we approach?
All right.
We're literally like 20 away. Wait, what are we? Let me see. We're getting close to 23,000 subs here on Nerd Report. Also, don't forget, if you like us to cover any other kind of things, any other type of coverage, let us know.
What'd I miss?
Oh man, Amber Heard turded on the middle of they're bringing shovels right now.
No shit.
No, I wouldn't lie to you. I'm a better actor.
You are. You're the best actor. You should go on some
We're almost at
auditions.
100 people here. Wow, that's amazing.
How
Love
are
it.
you feeling about your relationship with Mr. Depp?
May we have the exhibit taken away from? Thank you.
What was the exhibit? I missed it.
By June,
Oh, I was
was
heard. Yeah, you're asking the wrong dude.
so torn. I was so in love with this person because when it was good, it was so good. You've never felt love like that. At least that's how it felt. So much.
I have yet to see one actual
I
tear.
recognized him, and there was just something there that was the love of my life. And he was. He was. But he was also this other thing. He was also this other thing. And that other thing was awful thing that would come out and take over. And it was, you couldn't see the Johnny I loved underneath it. It was this other thing. And no one told him. No one was honest with him. No one, he'd pass out in his own vomit. He'd lose control of his body, he'd lose control, and everyone would clean up after him. I cleaned up after him. I mean, this man lost control of his bowels, and I cleaned up after him. He's in security.
Didn't you put the bed?
Pants in front of me. He would pass out.
He's laughing. Look, Johnny Depp is laughing because it's so ridiculous. He's laughing.
He didn't have a problem.
If he really did that, he wouldn't be laughing.
Until he couldn't support it.
Well, you know what?
And he'd get sober, and then he was this.
If he got too messed up, I could see that happening. But I think she did the same. And I don't even know if that has anything to do with striking someone,
Like my soulmate, as cheesy as that sounds, I just felt like he knew me. And I recognized something in him, either some part of my makeup and my background or something.
Right, it doesn't make sense. Fecal phobia. It doesn't have fecal phobia. Fecal phobia isn't even a real thing because fecal is Latin and phobia is Greek. It's in the Urban Dictionary, but it's not a real thing.
I wanted to leave him. I wanted to I didn't want to leave him. I wanted to leave him. I wanted him to get better. And he expressed to me so many times when he was in that period of getting clean and sober, he would tell me, "You saved my life. Baby girl, you saved my life." Everyone else was saying that to me, and I believed it. You know, if everyone else was saying it, he was saying it. I thought, just like his other friends who had gotten clean and sober and stayed that way, his older friends, these rock stars that he hung out with that had like gotten clean and sober and they had 20,
And the ones
30
you
years,
accused of
something, you know.
assisting him
I
and
thought-
essaying you?
And Johnny told me he would be that person, that he was going to be that person. And I believed it.
We added a poll, ladies and
I
gentlemen.
had
Is Amber
so
Heard
much- I
lying?
looked at that man.
Yes, no, turd.
Twice my age.
3 choices.
You know, I was 25, looking at this man twice my age, and I saw hope and like promise. I had so much
Here's
hope.
the other thing, that she's fake crying. She keeps
You know, the whole
doing this,
thing.
I'm about to blubber, holding back tears thing. But even if you're holding back tears, you're still producing tears on your ear ducts, which is going to drain into your sinuses, which is going to cause sniffling, which is going to make your voice sound like you're congested. That's not happening to her. She's been on the verge of tears at least 20 times in the past.
Objection.
50 minutes.
Yep.
She did refer to that she wrote it. She isn't saying what she said.
Oh, wrote that.
Uh-oh, the echo's back.
I wrote that letter because
I There's an echo.
thought
Yeah, it
it
just
would be
came back.
read to him. I could read it to him. I could say it to him in intervention, you know, in help. And he would later thank me for, as he did, as he used to thank me all the time for saving his life.
So he has to be thanking you for saving his life on a regular basis for your relationship to be okay?
Sorry.
Bro.
Yeah, I finally
No,
met
he
him
hasn't
in
grabbed a
summer
Kleenex.
of
Empty nest.
2013.
He has not.
I've been with Johnny for over a year.
We finally got one sniffle.
Is my best guess.
We have a
I'm
poll
still
up.
having to meet them,
Is she
you know,
lying
dying.
or is she saying the truth? Let's see
These
it.
kids,
So
I felt like
far,
I knew them already. I had
is she acting? No one said no.
his daughters, and actually, and
She has
Jack's,
no
both
supporters.
his kids' art on my fridge, and I had never even met them. You know, Johnny brought them over one day and kindly given them to me, and I had them up on my fridge because I felt like I knew them, just how much he talked about them, and I finally got to meet them.
The echo's back.
At the Lone Ranger premiere at Disneyland. Summer 2013.
So then I'm gonna jump to, and it's not much of a jump, to June 26th.
He's going crazy. Look at Johnny Depp.
There's a plane
He's
ride
laughing.
with Johnny. Do you recall that?
Yes.
Tell the jury about that particular event.
Well, that was the first and last time I ever.
I wouldn't. If stuff like that has happened to me, I can't talk about it without my voice shaking and involuntary tears running down my cheek. You know,
which was as stupid as it may sound. I just had never. I was very against. Obviously, the cocaine had been a problem. I was very much against him using cocaine. I was against the drinking, supportive of the sobriety, but
you were so supportive you couldn't abstain and not drink in front of him.
Ish. And I wanted, I had never heard of anyone making MDMA like what I had done MDMA before. I thought it's a lovey drug. It's it's like a kind of, I never knew anyone to get violent on it. And, I thought, well, this is a relatively contained environment. But maybe this will be different. Maybe I can be a good cop and be part of the, I don't have to be the lesbian counselor all the time, as you would say. I can maybe be a fun girlfriend. And I learned the hard way that was not happening.
So what happened?
Well, we took MDMA.
Andy has a perfect
capsule,
comment here. She's
just like
against
powder
drinking, but she's always
in a
drinking.
capsule.
That has been the
I took a
tale.
capsule and
Yeah, she's
the
always
defense.
drinking wine
Johnny
and
took,
drinking in
several
front of
other
him when he's
pills,
trying to
but,
get sober.
And then she bashes
you know,
it.
it's very different.
Uh-huh.
Someone take one versus a handful of something, but
That's the first thing any person in AA or Al-Anon will tell you, that the best thing you can do to support your person is to abstain yourself. And if you can't do that, well, then maybe you have a problem.
is engaging with us. I don't think that they're really, it felt like it was before the effects of the drug took over. It was relatively quick, soon after we first took our dose, if you can say. And the flight attendant, Johnny offered her some. She of course said no. And then after some back and forth between them, Johnny convinced her that it would be fine. So she acquiesced and took MDMA with us. And within, a few minutes go by, and the same thing happened that happened on the mushrooms at Hicksville with the
All
woman
this
Kelly Sue
mushroom
told you about.
talking. I want some pizza with
Flight
mushrooms.
attendant
Look,
got
in order
really
to have a bad trip
really
off of
just,
mushrooms,
like,
you need to eat like 2 ounces worth, like in a very short amount of time.
more comfortable with me physically. She kind of leaned
Generally,
into me.
you don't have a bad trip on
The
mushrooms
chair I was sitting in.
unless you do a lot.
I mean, after all, she's on drugs, and
I'm not asking how you know.
grabs her
It's
hand.
been decriminalized in at least 8
Touch
states at this
me.
point, so
Oh, okay.
we can
reacts
talk about it.
in a way like she's defending herself and was trying to clarify.
But I'm a Brady. I can't.
And he grabbed her by the wrist and slammed it down on the table and told her he could break her wrist. And I remember thinking, I've heard this before. And that was a pattern that would repeat itself a few times. These
Johnny
things
wants to
happen
smoke
in these
cigarettes.
kind of
So do I,
cycles
because I
where
have my
they
cigarette right here and I
get
keep
filtered
wanting to
for a
light
while,
it.
whether it's an accusation or a gesture, and that would be the thing that he looped on. I called it loops. And he grabs her wrist and he tells her he could break her wrist. She cries instantly, denies it, is so apologetic. Eventually he lets go. She goes to the front of the plane where the flight attendant, normally hangs out, and the doors close, and I don't see her much of that whole flight. We land in Russia, and I don't really remember, I don't recall any violence on the plane between Johnny and I, but I remember feeling this tension because I was wondering when it was gonna aim at me, because he had this particular thing about, at the time I understood he had a particular thing, a sensitivity about me and women, because I had a female partner. So I was feeling nervous, anxious, and I remember we had a very quiet ride. At least I didn't say anything to the ride to the hotel. And almost as soon as we get into the hotel room, Johnny's accusing me of effectively having engaged that boom cause. Johnny's of course deny it, point out what I thought was obvious, that we'd given her drugs. It's wasn't an affair, wasn't, and I'm trying to argue and defend myself at the same time. And at one point, Johnny just shoves me, just shoves.
Guys, we're taking a poll. Is
shoves
Amber
me
Heard acting?
hard.
The
And
poll's
I
right
fall
there in
back
the
onto
chat
this
pinned.
glass table.
The options are
Catch
yes,
myself on the
no,
table.
or turd, and no is
I don't
catching
know
up.
how
3%.
some furniture got knocked around. There was I'm trying to stand up for myself. I'm trying to stand up. Literally, I'm not. At this point, I don't even try to hit back or try to run. I'm in this hotel room trying to do my best to fight mostly the verbal accusations, but also I try to stay on my feet. At some point, Johnny whacks me in the face.
I'm lost. Were they in a hotel room or on an airplane?
I don't remember feeling pain or like awareness of my nose or anything. I don't remember thinking that. I remember kind of crying and feeling. I went into the bathroom and I wanted him to have I just remember wanting him to realize what had happened. I wanted him to kind of snap out of it. I wanted him to care. I wanted him to realize what was going on, because a big part of this, I felt like he wasn't aware. There was this sense that he didn't know what was going on. You know, again, I don't know how much of the drugs or alcohol is a part of this, but I remember crying. I came out at some point because I don't hear him in that room. I remember we had been arguing in the main room, but I went out to the hallway, which is where I presume he walked out, and his bodyguard, Jerry Judge, was in the hall. And I don't recall seeing Johnny in the hallway, but I remember seeing Jerry Judge, who gestured to my
Objection,
nose.
hearsay.
She's just saying gesture. He hasn't said anything yet.
All right, gesture's fine. Overruled objection.
He gestures to my nose and holds out his.
Another dead person who's not here to verify or deny what she's saying.
And I instantly felt.
Oh,
really
Johnny
bad.
is so annoyed.
I felt ashamed. I don't know how else to describe it. I just felt like just really embarrassing. And I went inside the room.
What, if any, injury did you have?
I had a little blood coming out of my nose. I didn't know it. I didn't feel it at the time until Jerry gave me Jerry let me know.
Okay.
And I went inside the hotel room, and it, as embarrassing as it is, I remember just wanting Johnny to say sorry. I wanted him to realize it. It's so stupid, but I like the emotional part. You know, I just wanted him to acknowledge that this was that he could hurt me, you know, and I wanted it to be okay. I didn't want him to think I was interested in this flight attendant. I didn't want him to think that I would capable of cheating on him. I was in love with him. I just wanted things to be okay.
Let's take you to July 9, 2013. Did there come a time that you went for a ride you went to the Bahamas and went on a ride for the yacht with Johnny and his kids?
It was less like we flew out to the Bahamas to his island. He was selling
People, let's
the
get those
yacht
likes
to
up.
J.K. Rowling.
5 away
Wanted
from
to kind
100.
of have a goodbye trip on the yacht. So it was docked off the island, and I went with him and his kids, who I had quickly developed a bond with and loved. And we brought a friend along with us, I think, to kind of help. And
Not according to them.
Okay. Tell the jury what happened on that trip.
Johnny was upset that he had to sell the boat, and he was off the wagon again, but he didn't want to tell his kids, so he was hiding it from them. He was putting it in coffee cups and drinking, and the behavior just kind of like, he was upset, he was emotional, and it just that's how he dealt with it, just drink. But there's just no off button with Johnny. So he just kept drinking, and the behavior kept getting more obviously drunk. And Lily Rose, his daughter at the time, was young, just like maybe 14. And she started to get panicky and started asking questions about his drinking.
Objection, hearsay.
Without saying what Lily Rose was saying, please continue on.
Sustained objection.
So she was asking me questions about the drinking.
Did you see Johnny shake his head right there?
Yep.
Like, you want to bring my kid into this?
What Lily Rose said.
What? I want to see Lily Rose come up there and be like, I hated her from the start.
What you and Mr. Depp said, okay?
Sorry. So she was upset, and
We need one more like for 100.
we were with the kids, and he kind of threw himself off the boat in a half playful way, like a dead fish kind of way. I don't know how to describe it, almost like a belly flop. But we were on a skip, like a smaller boat parked next to the yacht, and he's jumping. Well, he jumped off the front of it, but kind of in a face, chest forward way. Like it looked a little scary, like not something somebody would do if they're completely okay. You know, it was.
He's laughing at that. He's like, what?
Into the water, and then he, at one point, kind of throws himself over, and it looked a little scary. The way his body fell into the water, and Lily Rose started to cry and expressed to me that she
Objection,
was
hearsay.
sustained.
You can't say what she said. You can tell expressions or observations, but you can't say what Lily Rose said.
So Lily Rose is crying, and the crying becomes like a panic, like almost like a panic attack. Like rapid breathing, crying, lots of questions. And I'm holding her, kind of comforting her, and Johnny comes in.
You can't handle the poo. Just had to read that out loud.
Within a few seconds, I realized that he, kind of shifted his attention on me, and then he seemed very angry. He asked Lily Rose to leave. Lily Rose leaves, looks at me, leaves, crying, and Johnny, I don't remember the words he used, but starts accusing me of kind of like telling on him and calling him, a drunk in front of his kids. I hadn't done that. I was actually trying to protect Johnny. It didn't feel like my place at all to share that with his daughter or anyone at the time, other than adults who might help with it, but not his kids. So I was trying to tell him I was trying to comfort her. I was trying to protect you. He basically was accusing me of doing this thing and of making them aware of his that he was drinking again. And he slams me up against the side wall of the bedroom of the cabin. We were in the bedroom this whole time, but up against the wall of the cabin, and slams me up by my neck and holds me there for a second and tells me that he could fucking kill me. And that was an embarrassment. I was embarrassing. It was embarrassment. This whole thing was a joke. All embarrassment. I made him feel sick. And I'll never forget.
I don't think that she realizes that Lily Rose is no longer a minor. Lily Rose is a whole grown adult, and she could come in
very
here.
much in love with this whole family now. And he's saying I'm embarrassing to him. And that somehow stuck in me more than the I could fucking kill you. It just sounded like hyperbole. It sounded like something he was just saying, but the names that he was calling me, kind of just pushing me up against the wall by my neck, hurt my feelings. It hurt. When I saw Lily Rose again, we get, I won't say what she told me, but the next thing we do is we call for a helicopter to come and take us off of the boat or off of the island. So we leave the boat, go to the landing.
She's gonna be doing this tomorrow too, or then Cross is coming because it's about to end, right?
Island we had to get to leave, and we
Cross is coming whenever
holding Lily Rose.
Very stop.
Whenever her team decides that they're done.
Crying or lifting
Seems
off,
like she has a lot to go
Jack
though,
ended up not
right?
coming with us at the last minute. He stayed behind.
Yeah, I don't know how long they're gonna let her spin her crap before they send her to the dogs.
I felt bad about leaving, even though that had happened. I still felt
Matthew Coburn put daydream believer. No. Daydreaming. I'm in love with an ostrich.
I had done something wrong,
Scooby Doo.
It's not at me. I wasn't sure, what I had done, but I remember not being, I'm getting all these text messages from him calling me. all
Guys,
these
get your
names
votes
and
in. Is Amber Heard
barely
acting?
coherent, barely,
Yes,
and I'm
no,
calling his daughter
turd.
crying.
4% think
And
she's
let
not
me just
acting.
Stop you for a moment. Michelle, can you pull up defendants?
I'm going to end the poll in a minute.
180?
I believe that's already in.
It is already into evidence, Your Honor, so we may publish it to the jury. And Amber, I'm going to ask you to take a look at 180. And this is text messages from Mr. Depp to you. Do you recall these?
They're making
Yes,
it hard
I
to
do.
follow on purpose.
And are these the text messages?
And
Yes, that's what he was sending me while I was taking care of his daughter.
yes, they have a time limit, but I don't know what the time limit is for her
Do
specifically.
you guys think the 4% that voted that she's not acting trolls?
Probably.
Also, if you want to support the channel, make sure you send over a super chat. You could become a member, you could Cash App, or you could subscribe if you have not done so yet, which is 100% free and we 100% love.
He's just, did you
Your
see
Honor,
that?
I'm going to another event.
You said something to him and he was like, yeah, whatever.
I mean, that's fine. I think this is a good point to break for the day.
I think it's probably good.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, we'll go ahead and conclude for today. Again, do not do anything about this case. Do not do any outside research and don't discuss it with anybody, okay? Have a good evening. We'll see you in the morning, okay? Thank you.
All right, everyone. Press 1 if you think Amber Heard did better than you thought. Press 2 if she was a total turd. 1, better. 2, turd. Press 1 in the comments. Let us know if this is the first time you come on this channel as well, because I'm curious. And where you're watching from as we conclude this right now. What do you think, Robin? Quick review.
I think we're all on the same page. Horrible acting job led by her team. And now
All right.
she's an active witness, which means she's not allowed to do outside research. She's not allowed to talk to anybody about her testimony, not even her lawyers, not her PR person, and she's not allowed to look at social media or do any kind of outside research. So if she
How do they
comes
monitor
back-
that, though?
Huh?
How do they know? How do they monitor that?
They just said that well, if her PR person is tweeting or doing anything on her behalf, if she changes her tune tomorrow in any way, that seems to be a direct reaction to anything said in the next between now and when they come back tomorrow. So keep an eye on them socials.
Well, she's obviously watching because she changed her PR team.
Yes, but now she's an now she's on
I
the
get you.
stand
Yes.
as an active witness. So the judge just like when Johnny was for a couple of days the person on the stand, he wasn't supposed to even talk to his attorneys about the case or his PR team or his friends or family or look at social media or the internet or anything. So now that rule's on her.
All right, real quick here because I do gotta go. Where I'm gonna post the Twitter right there. I pressed the link. That's my Twitter right there at NerdLecca. Once again, at NerdLecca is the Twitter. We will be back tomorrow. Hopefully, Robin, are you gonna join me tomorrow or not?
I'll try. I'll have to play it by ear because I have stuff going on, but I don't see why I wouldn't.
We're gonna have some more people calling in. I really appreciate you. Over 100 likes. Just last minute thing. Couple technical difficulties, issues that we will resolve. There. Remember, follow us on Twitter. Robin, your Cash App real quick again. $sign what?
$sign Robin Redbreast. I put it. Paste.
I got it. Robin Redbreast 86.
I got it.
There we go.
Yeah,
Let's see if we
86.
get at least one. She's never gotten a super chat. I mean, a Cash App from going on one of these things. So let's be the first right there on screen.
And my Twitter is Robin Redbreast W.
All right, there we go. I gotta go. But you know what? We spontaneously go live all the time. So you want to follow us. All right, we got some people are texting me, man. I just subscribed Stranger Things, whatever.
Yeah, someone said they liked my shirt.
What is that noise? Okay, let's get out of here. Okay, I gotta go. All right. Head over. I'm not going to go to Popcorn Planet right now. I don't have time. Do me a favor. Head over to Popcorn Planet and tell them Lewis sent you from the Phantom Zone. All right. Lewis sent you. Have a good time right there. Say hi to Andy and the family for me. And we'll talk to you later. Yo.
Bye, everyone.
Noise going on in the background. Damn it. I can't control myself. I can't control it.